works to free son from Hamas. Now, of course, she's not the only one. This is regarding Israel. And I saw the results of Hamas's handiwork pretty much right after. It was the same afternoon that it happened, or the same day, because I have a direct feed connected which feeds me all the latest things coming out of Israel. So this particular story comes from faithwire.com. And I encourage you to stop by faithwire.com. And it's also connected close to cbn.com. Rachel Goldberg is on a nonstop mission to bring her son home from captivity and spending the past 7 months on a valiant, heart-wrenching, and inspiring quest to rescue him from the grips of terror. Hirsch Goldberg Poland, 23, was captured by Hamas terrorists on August 7th. Now, I personally...
October 7th.
I think that just about any mother would do the same thing.
You're right.
While attending the Nova Music Festival, and since that day his mother has fiercely fought for a safe return, with their courageous advocacy landing her a place on Time's 100 most influential people of 2024.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Most recently, Goldberg has spoken out about Hamas' decision to release an April 24th video of her son, footage that shows him alive at the time of its recording. The video was the first visible sign since October 7th terror attack on Israel that Hirsch was still alive. It was a very surreal experience, Goldberg told CBN News on the clip. After 201 days, to suddenly hear Hirsch's voice was just unbelievable, indescribable, and to see him moving. However, she also explained the difficulty in seeing the obvious health impact of Hirsch's capture and captivity and seeing her vibrant son before October 7th. Now, you can read the rest of that. You can go to faithwire.com. That's faithwire.com. And you can read the rest of this. And I wanted to put that up to let people know that these hostages are still there. And even with all the war that's going on and what Israel has done, Hamas still has hostages. And I've heard people involved in that, both from Hamas and from America and the Biden administration and others, that said at this point, nobody knows if there's any hostages left. They don't even know where they're at. But
that's just gut-wrenching.
You know, the thing of it is, the entire world turned against Israel when it wasn't Israel's fault. And on the videos and the stuff, on the day that this happened, right after it happened, pretty much within a few hours, they had posted it. And it is some of the most gut-wrenching stuff you'll ever see. The most damnable stuff that anybody could do to somebody, especially these warrior Hamases who are baking their babies in ovens, and even worse stuff. And that's bad enough. So as far as I'm concerned, to hell with Hamas and the other Muslims who do this. And they're going to go to hell for it because, you know, God offers forgiveness. But when you do this stuff, you're going to go to hell. And that's all there is to it.
I think sometimes there's a line that's crossed that there's no turning back. There's no opportunity for redemption.
Well, I think there's a lot of truth to that, because when they get that hardened, they're not going. Nope. They're not going to repent. And so every curse there is in the world and hell is heaped upon these people for what they've done. And they are cursed as far as I'm concerned. And that curse is going to reach right into Islam. And you may think Islam is the way to heaven, but it isn't. It's not even close. So, for that, are you ready, Tower?
Uh-huh. This is part 1 of Prayer Focus from BarnabasAid.org. This is Nigeria. Pastor and wife appeal for help in video after a year in captivity. Your prayers are urgently requested for Nigerian pastor Paul Musa and his wife Ruth, who were abducted more than a year ago by the Islamist terrorist group Boko Haram from their home in northern Borneo State. In a video posted online by the kidnappers on May 5th, Pastor Paul calls on the government and the Christian Association of Nigeria for help in securing their release. The couple was abducted in March 2023, and Pastor Paul says that Muslims kidnapped at around the same time have been freed and resettled in their communities, yet we have been forgotten. Why? Asked Pastor Paul. Why does the government not care for us? Is it because we are Christians? The 59-year-old pastor points out that he and his 50-year-old wife have served the church for 29 years. Today we are not physically healthy, he said in the video, and I and my wife, we are here. We need assistance from you. Churches and Christian communities in Nigeria's north and middle belt are frequently targeted for attack. It is estimated that around 45,000 believers have been killed by Islamists since 2009. The majority of the killings taking place in the two regions. Many hundreds of thousands have been displaced. And this is Egypt. Extremists attacked 2 Christian villages in Upper Egypt. Please cover our brothers and sisters in southern Minya Governorate, Upper Egypt, in prayer after separate attacks by Muslim extremists on 2 Christian communities. Several houses belonging to Christians in Al-Fawakir village, around 150 miles south of Cairo, were set ablaze late on April 23rd, according to a local Christian source. The attack on the village near the city of Samulet were launched in response to an attempt to build a new church. When religious fanatics failed to expel Christians from their homes as a form of punishment, the extremists burned down their houses while they were still inside. The following day, church leader Anba Makarios said on his Facebook page that the authorities had contained the unrest and arrested those responsible. On April 26, Muslim extremists attacked Christians in Al-Qam al-Mahur village after learning that a church had obtained a permit to construct a church building. The security forces moved to the village and the situation was brought under control, and a number of perpetrators were being arrested. And that was a report from a Christian advocacy group. Algeria. Senior church leaders, illegal worship, prison sentence upheld. Please redouble your prayers for Algerian church leader Pastor Yusuf Orahamane, whose 1-year sentence for illegal worship has been upheld by the Court of Appeal in Tizi Ouzou, Algeria, in a verdict released at the end of April. Pastor Yosef, Vice President of the Protestant Church of Algeria, was scheduled to have his second appeal against a prison sentence and a fine heard in the court on March 26th. Pastor Yusuf was charged with allegedly holding an unauthorized religious meeting in a building not permitted to be used for religious worship. And you can see that story on Prayer Focus Update, November 2023. The charges relates to Pastor Yusuf's supervision in March 2023 of several Christian families who stayed at a church compound that includes a chapel that has been sealed by the authorities. So remember to pray for our brothers and sisters in these situations.
Are you done?
Yes.
You know, did you notice that in every one of those, you know, the leaders are disappeared?
Yeah.
You know, they're trouble. I mean, now see, we've got another one, and now this comes out of Ukraine. It talks about an Orthodox priest. Well, see, again, Ukraine comes up here. And this has to do with the Ukrainian Orthodox priest. And he's 41 years old. And he's been held in one of their prisons, which they call an investigation prison. And then there's another one, a woman in her 50s faces a criminal trial. And 18 months have passed since, that's where these people are. You know, the Ukrainian Orthodox priest and this woman both disappeared. And then you go back a ways, 18 months ago, and Russian occupiers took 2 Greek Catholic priests and they disappeared. And so the priest is Friar Maximov, and they charged him with espionage. And so you have a Center for Civil Liberties, and that's what this particular priest had. He was seized May 2023. And he's in the Crimean capital since at least February of 2024. So they don't know if they're going to keep him there and he'll attend a trial by video link. Well, you know, when they do a video link, that's just as good as throwing away the key.
Yes, it is. So
you really have to pray for Ukraine and for the Christians. We come across this all the time, and there's even more to this story than that. It's a big story, and it has to do with Ukraine and the persecution of Christians there. And in this case, you have Russia, you know, is taking part in this. And matter of fact, we know for a fact that the Russian Orthodox Church has a history of persecuting regular groups of Christians.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been severe persecution against Christians. Many years ago, it was like that. And, you know, you look at all this stuff you were talking about, you have this, and then you look at all the persecution going on anyway. And we are constantly talking about, information that comes to us from groups that are working to help alleviate the persecuted church. And it never ends. Matter of fact, it gets worse. So pray for these things that we're mentioning today, and pray for these people. You know, the thing of it is the world is in turmoil, and personally, this is not going to go away. You know, we are in the end of days, and we're waiting for the return of Christ. And even in America, it's not going to be a piece of cake in America, because America is totally backslid. Matter of fact, it's damnable in many ways. But there are revivals going on here. and there's revivals going on in other